Daf Pei Chay Amud Aleph, 16 lines down. The last thing we had insinuated was that the buyer, if he bought it, he would be chayav in maaseh. Like, what's the problem with the lokech? Midoraita chayav as a buyer, chayav midoraita to take off maaseh what he buys. Atanya right says, why were the shops of Bet Hinno, these people in a certain town, how come they were destroyed 3 years before Yerushalayim was? They did their own actions and they used the Torah's wording to support themselves against the Chachamim. She'emim, they would say, Aser ta'aser, you should do ma'aser ve'achata, and you can eat it. V'lo mocher, which sounds like not if you're selling it. And therefore, t'vuat zar'echa v'lo your seed you're chayav ma'aser, but not someone who buys. So we see that a person's chayav is midrabanan to do ma'aser. The Gemara said midrabanan because it's true it's midrabanan. And the pasuk is just a hint to it, midioraita, but it's really draban. So okay, like kinaf shecha lemayata. What does the word kinaf shecha sounds like? Kinaf shecha teaches you that you have to do it like yourself. So when I said the Tanya, kinaf shecha, manav shecha ima hamasta patur. Teaches us fine. It's as if it's yours to teach you, just like when you're working with what's yours. If you muzzle yourself from eating your patur, you could just not eat. Af po'elim hamasta patur. So too, if you stopped your worker from eating, you're also patur. What's considered goren for maaser? Right, we said goren is a type of finishing of the produce, the final step of processing to be chayav. So what's that considered for maaser? Right, cucumbers and squash and gourds, that's when it's yipasku. That means when the blossom is removed, the tip that grows from the tree, that piece that falls off. My love, Misha Paksu, field that sounds like no matter where they fell off, even if it's in the field. Again, what we just said, that was either in the house or the yard. When it says La Misha Paksu, it's referring to when it falls off in the house. Misha Paksu, Adshi Paksu, sounds like until it falls off, not when it falls off, until it falls off in the house, it should say. When it says Itana Adshi Paksu, it said until Havamina Ad the Gamal, because it sounds like only when it's finished, until all the fruits lose it. Refer to not says you're chayav maaser once they start losing the blossoms. Okay. The Gordon of maaser is chayav for eating it because you're eating tevel unmaaser fruits. When their work is complete. So what's considered complete? When you bring it in. My life, different. Like even if you gather them into a pile while it's in the field. Against what we suggested today, that you need yard or house. Machoket. When I said it's referring to the house. Whether you're saying the Benai holds even when Rabbi says you have to see the house is only when for olives and grapes you have to the love because that's not doesn't have a goren to it. Eating goren but wheat and barley, which there is a goren, a type of storaging and siloing it. Therefore, you'd be chayav in that even before the house. So now we have Pesach teaches that a human worker who's working with attached fruits, he's allowed to use it, and also an ox is working with detached fruits, he's allowed to eat. I know that a human who's dealing with detached fruits, he can eat while he's working. When I say it's kavachomer, make sure you bring a kavachomer from an ox. An ox does not eat attached fruits; it does eat it when it is detached. So then kavachomer for sure. Then a human who eats when it's attached for sure can eat when it's detached. No. An ox is different because an ox, you do have a commandment in muzzling it at times. But a human is not chayav in muzzling. So I mean, you can't compare. Gemara says, okay, maybe a human should be muzzled, kavachomer from an ox. An ox, we're not commanded to feed it, you're commanded to muzzle it. Adam, a person, you're commanded to keep him alive, maybe you're also chayav to keep him muzzled. So basically, we're trying to knock out the kavachomer. It isn't kavachomer. Whatever belongs to you belongs to the worker. That teaches you. If you muzzle yourself, you're patur, so too you're muzzling your worker, also patur. So therefore, we see that the ox is more hamur than a human. So now, how do we know that a man can eat detached fruits while working? The word kama pops up twice. If the second time which actually doesn't apply to attached fruits by man, it applies to detached fruits by a man. He says no. He detached fruits by a person, you don't need pasuk because we know when you come into your friend's vineyard. And like he's hiring when he's hired when he's carrying it, which is already detached. And he said he could eat. Therefore, what does he do with this pesukim? What does he know that an ox can eat while working with attached produce? From a person. If a human worker who does not eat with detached can eat when it is attached, a shore, an ox that eats when it's detached should for sure eat when it's attached. When it says, the question that we had earlier is now inverse over here. You can't compare. A human, you have to keep him alive. An ox, you don't have to keep him alive. When it says, maybe you should have a kavachomer that you should have to keep the ox alive. Man that you're not commanded to muzzle, you're still commanded to keep him alive. Sounds like a shore that you are required to muzzle. You should also be required to keep it alive. And therefore, you can also prove from there that it's also able to eat attached fruits. Pasuk says that your brothers will live with you. An ox, a person, not an ox. Only a person, you have to make sure you have to keep him alive. Okay, but okay, how do you know that an ox can eat with attached produce? So says your friend twice. Obviously, the first is referring to a human worker with attached produce, and therefore the second one, to know the shor is referring to an ox with attached fruits. No, you don't need a pasuk for a human worker with detached. You don't need a pasuk for an ox with attached. You should not muzzle an ox while it's threshing. Therefore, everything, all animals are not a muzzle. We learn from the exertion of ox from Shabbat. So why did it say do not thresh while muzzling? Sure, they already specify the word ox. To compare the muzzler to the muzzled, the human to the ox, and the ox to the human. Which is what? Just like the human being eats with attached produce, so too the animal can eat while it's attached. And so too when the animal eats with attached, so too the human can eat with detached. Okay, it's number 9. Daish, the works, pasuk says threshing. Just like threshing is specifically something that grows from the ground and the worker eats from it. I've quoted with the karka so anything that grows from the ground, the worker can eat from it. Excludes if the guy's working milking animal, making cheeses and butter, like he doesn't eat since it doesn't grow from the ground, the worker can't eat it. I know that you can't when you come into your vineyard. It doesn't say anything about cheese. Where it says, right, you mentioned that since the word kama is including other things besides the vineyard, maybe you'll consider also other items like cow's milk. Mashmalan would say this only refers to stuff that grows from the ground. Bertha says the word threshing, it's like threshing is referring to the time of completion of work, and the worker can eat it. Of course, so anything else while the item is being worked on, it's mutar for the worker to eat it. That's excluding someone who is weeding out from a field of garlic or onions. Since it's not the completion of work, he's waiting for them to grow still. He can't eat them. Seems like you cannot put anything into your vessel. You can't just start go shopping. So of course you wouldn't be able to use it. No, it's different because although there are some bad garlics or bad onions in there that we put aside, you'd be taking it out to be removed, even though you might think that they're being removed and therefore you'd be able to take them. Mashman, you have to give it to the owner. Just like threshing is specifically something that's the work is not completed in regarding to maaser and the worker eats. Anything else that there's no maaser yet, the worker can eat. Yatsa that excludes someone who's separating the dates or the dried figs, or he's breaking apart pressed items. Since that's considered already completed work, it's maaser chayav, and now you can't eat anymore. Different says you can eat these separated date or figs. Over there is referring to the non-ripened dates. The non-ripened dates that will not ripen anymore, they're stored in baskets and in the hope that they ripen and you're able to eat them when they ripen later on. So because they're not ripened yet, they're not chayav ma'aseh. The same thing. The word threshing, just like threshing is referring to items that are not chayav and chalab, and the worker eats it. Anything else that you're not chayav and chalab, and the worker eats from it. Yatsa that excludes halash something that someone kneading bread or shaping and raising the bake or baking the dough. That's already considered halal, and you can't eat it. Gemara says, but regarding maaser, it's already hayav before you start kneading it, right? The second you cut the wheat and made it in before you even turn it into bread, you're hayav maaser. Gemara says, no. There's no maaser because it's chutz la'aretz. The Gemara says, okay, if it's in chutz la'aretz, no maaser. There's also no halal. What are you talking about? How can you be talking about a case where there is halal but no maaser in chutz la'aretz? Referring to there's only a halal obligation over here because it's referring to either the 7 years they conquered Eretz Yisrael, the 7 years they divided the land by Yehoshua. More. The practice is those 7 years and 7 years. They're chayav in halal, but not chayav in maaser. Midi maaser kagarim. It sounds like though that the actual chiyuv is maaser that causes the guy to stop eating. It's not. It doesn't go by maaser. It goes by the gemar melacha. The second that you finish, consider processing the food. So okay, combine keroch like a sandwich. Combine the two braytot and set the box. Just like threshing is specifically something that the work is not complete in regarding to maaser and chala, and the worker can eat from it. Avkol, the maaser chala, anything else that the work is not complete regarding maaser and chala, that is what you can eat.